So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. There are some contents that I make simply just to entertain you guys, just make you laugh and relax and have a good time. While there are some that's my intention is to pass a very strong message. Those kinds of content where I intend to convey a deep message, I usually find myself bringing in bits and snippets of my story, of my life into it. First, so I can talk from experience, and secondly, so it can aid relatability. And the more I get deeper and deeper into YouTube, the more I begin to realize that for me, this is not just creating content. This is like living my purpose, doing the Lord's work. Oh yes, it's more like being an instrument, a tool. And every day I find that my life and the events that take place in my life is not just mine alone. A number of things that has happened and is happening in my life, I believe is designed by God for a reason. And that reason includes the hundreds of thousands of people that watch me. So, in the spirit of Christmas, we are gonna have this conversation over a glass of wine or whatever you like to drink. We are successfully coming to the end of the year, and what's better way to celebrate and tell you guys thank you and say I love you guys for sticking with me throughout the year than to have this conversation over a glass of non-alcoholic wine. So, please do me the honors of grabbing a drink, brandy, whiskey, tequila, wine, whatever in the world you love to drink, and join me. Salute. It's Christmas season. Relax and let your hair down. Let us have this gist. All I want for Christmas is you. Let me open up about myself and men. My concept and my experience with men ever since I was born has not been good. It has been extraordinarily fantastic. Starting from the first man in my life, my father. Right from when I was a little girl, as far as I can remember, my father treated me exceptionally special. He called me and still calls me till today the Queen. He taught me love, he showed me love, and he set the standard for me of how a man is allowed to treat me. Ada Chief. I am my father's only daughter, the only daughter to an Igbo chief. My father is a lawyer as well, and I am the apple of his eyes, literally. The only one who can smoothen his ruffled feathers. I have very vivid recollections of my childhood, seeing myself being carried by my father while he's in village meeting. My father is a very community person, right? While in those meetings, my dad will carry me and put me to sleep. And back then, when my mom gives me eba and soup to eat, of course I hated eba. But my mom, a teacher, would insist that what is on the menu is what everybody would have. My dad will make a case for me and tell them to make either indomie or bread and tea for me. When it was time for me to get into college, and I took the JAMB examinations, and somehow JAMB seized the results of everybody in that center where I wrote my JAMB, so I couldn't get into the university. My dad said over his dead body, he wasn't a politician, he didn't have excess money to throw around, but my dad took me to a private university. If you're Nigerian, you would know how expensive training a child in private university is. I went to the most expensive private university in Nigeria. My father took me all the way from Lagos to Edo State to write the exam, and when the results came out and I passed, he took me there to settle me in. My mom was very present in my life, so don't get it twisted. But my dad took me to school as a fresher, and he was running up and down, coming in and out of the hostels more than 20 times. He would go and buy broom, come back, buy mop, come back, buy gas, come back. And at a point, my roommates in their 300, 400 level were like, leave your dad alone to go home now. They were were like, which kind of daddy's girl is this? My daddy settled me in school as a young teenage 100 level law undergraduate. Even when one of my uncles were like, chief, you sent your daughter to a private university with all these millions you're spending. By the time she come out now, she will get married. You're trying to downplay investing such fortune in a female child. My father bullshitted him. He said, yes, he would give me the best. Up to masters and doctorates if I'm still with him. I remember when I started modeling in university, there was this beauty pageant that I went for. That without telling us, they put our pictures as Sun Girl. If you used to read Sun newspaper back in the day, you remember page 2, Sun Girl, where you see all sorts of mbekes. Some will put eye pencil, black eye pencil like this, hold flower. Nkechi Okonkwo, bust 22, waist 38. Some, they would even put their phone number there. When somebody called me and told me that they saw me as Sun Girl, I wept because I didn't want to be in such a place, and also because I didn't want my parents to find me there. But when my father got hold of this newspaper, hey, that anger that I was expecting Chief would have, my father called me. He was so happy, he was so excited, he was proud of me. He kept that newspaper until dates. It is somewhere in his archives. I never knew that this Nze, this red cap chief, would support entertainment ambitions of his daughter. My father supports me. He trusts me. He believes in me. I am my father's jewel. He never hit me. And do you know what that father foundation did in my life? I'll tell you. It made me bold. It gave me wings. It made me fearless. It made me feel beautiful and confident. It made me decent because I would never disappoint my daddy. It made me take my education seriously, that even when I was modeling, I never lost focus on my studies. And when I made a 2-1, I went to my dad and I showed him, and he was proud of me, and he sent me to law school. I couldn't afford to dash my daddy's trust in me. He taught me that I can be whatever I want to become. It gave me a voice. It made me whole. It gave me contentment, and it built a very, very high self-esteem and self-worth in myself. It prepared me for the marriage and the man that I would eventually accept to be with or remain in. It was no different with my brothers. As their only sister, my brothers loved and cherished me. You can't even touch me. All those stories I hear of elder brothers beating up their younger sisters and doing all those things, my elder brother never touched me or maltreated me or shut me up. I grew up with only boys, living amongst boys, understanding boys, loving boys. And so when I decided to get married, I already knew who I was and what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for a man that would throw flattery at me and tell me how beautiful I am or how intelligent I am. I didn't need that. I already knew that. Daddy had already told me. I knew that I would never be able to cope in a marriage where I am being maltreated or oppressed, because that is not what my father showed me love is. So I went from a father that carries me like gold into the marriage with a husband that treasures me like diamonds. A man that even after 11 years still is in awe of me. And sometimes I will sit down and pinch myself. I will say, I thought they said all marriages have struggles, have problems. Where is the problem here? I'm like, oh my God. But let me just stop there with that. And then children started coming. Of course, I grew up with boys all my life. So I was like, what's he gonna be? When am I getting my girl? And the first baby came, it was a boy. The second baby came, it was a boy. The third baby came, it was a boy. I was like, hey, now only me waka come. So I became once again a mom of boys. And I experienced another angle and dimension of love from boys. Love from my sons. How they would care for me, protect me, feed me, massage me. If I just keep my resting face, it's not like I'm angry, just maybe tired or resting face, they'll come all over me. Mommy, are you okay? Are you happy? Why are you not smiling? And even down to my career life. Most of my career life, my bosses from the law firm where I practiced to the bank, everywhere I've worked, I've mostly had male bosses. And every single one of them have treated me with kindness, fairness, respect, and consideration. These are my close experiences. There are many others. Are you having your drink? Have you taken your beer? Don't worry, the bill is on me. Send me the bill. No. Barman, don't take money. Have your drink and send me the bill. It's on me today in the spirit of Christmas. Men are great. Men are fantastic. They are a good, precious gift to the world. I've never seen a species as selfless as a man. A woman's loyalty rests with the people that she deeply loves, but a man's loyalty can be anywhere. So selfless. You can call a man your male friend at 1 a.m. for help, and he will get up from his bed and help you. He can drive out in the midnight to help you jumpstart your car that parked up in the middle of the road. The only person that a woman can love unconditionally is her children. But a man loves and gives without even hoping to get back. Very sweet, easygoing, down-to-earth set of people. They don't get wahala. So when I see an irresponsible man or a wicked man, a man treating his wife badly, I am appalled. Not from a place of bitterness, but from a place of knowledge that this is not how it's supposed to be. And when I come across a story of a father touching his child, his daughter, inappropriately, I am furious because I know that that is not normal. I talk from a place of great experiences with men and the knowledge that they are not all like that, and the wish for more women to experience what I have experienced and I am experiencing. And when some men get upset why you are challenging or questioning a certain code of conduct or a certain behavior, that it is normal now, it is normal, all men are like that, accept it, I say no. All men are not like that. You are just wicked. And they try to convince other younger ladies that are not in marriage that is how it is. All men cheat. Shut up. Not in the street. You will just go and be married men will just be sleeping around with you, divorcee. That's how men are. Accept it. And I say, irony, men mount. Men guinea mount. And just because such a person does not want his behavior to be challenged, because we are in a society that gives absolute power to a man. And naturally, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So some men are unable to handle the excessive privileges that they come with, that the society has given them, and then they abuse it. All I ever desire, my biggest wish, my purpose, is to have conversations and encourage situations where men and women treat each other, treat themselves with love, consideration, and respect. Only last week, we were confronted with a show of shame between Nigerian musician Portable and his lover, Queen Dami. Queen Dami was first married to the Alafi of Oyo State. She was married off to him when she was just a teenager, and he was in his 80s. After bearing 1 or 2 children with the traditional ruler, he passed, and then she became a young widow. No education, no businesses, no trust funds, I doubt. It wasn't long before she fell into the hands of this man. Portable, as we very well know, is a highly irresponsible individual. There is no need to sugarcoat anything or to sound diplomatic. It's crystal clear. It's common knowledge. He is highly indisciplined. He would get into street fights. He's always in the middle of trouble with one person or the other. Today, he's getting drunk and falling into gutter. Next tomorrow, he's scaling the fence and the police is on his trail. He is just that God forbid button that no sensible woman with a bit of self-worth should be found anywhere 10 kilometers away from him, talk less of sleeping with him or having children for him. But would you believe that within just how many years, this man is married with 6 children from 4 different women, along with several other concubines and girlfriends here and there. And every now and then he would fall out with one of these women, disgracing them, insulting them on Instagram Live in a disgusting show of shame. And you know the funniest thing about it? These women always go back.
Not be juju be that.
And now in the week that just passed, we saw him take to social media to call out Queen Dami, the Alafi of Oyo's widow, who is now his lover, calling her all the most unprintable names in the book, including accusing her of killing the traditional ruler. She's a prostitute. He picked her from the gutter, taking care of her child, rented a house, and yet she hasn't given him any child. She's a prostitute.
Ó yẹ kó jẹ́ kí n wá báyìí kí n lù ẹ́ lójú fọ́ kí n fọ́ ẹ lẹ́nu. Ìwọ táyé ti bàjẹ́. 2 years mo fẹ́ fún 2 years. Oyún bíi 4 sí 5 jábọ́ lára rẹ̀. Why?
Oh my God. The purpose of this video is not to discuss Portable and Queen Dami, because there's even a very high chance that she would be back. What laziness, poverty, and low self-esteem cannot do does not exist. I came here to tell us how we can prepare our daughters not to be like this. What can cause a woman to see an individual as irresponsible as Portable and still jump in to become one of the bandwagons of his concubines? 1, a lack of father foundation, love, and assurance. I started this video by relaying my story to you guys and the effect that foundation had on me. And I revealed all of those primarily for one reason: to demonstrate how powerful the identity that a father gives his daughter is. I mentioned some videos ago that if a mother tells her daughter that she is beautiful, it is a compliment. But if a father tells his daughter that it is an identity, it becomes her personality. Girls who grew up getting constantly put down by their fathers, suffered abuse from their fathers, or grew up lacking their father's love, presence, and assurance. Most times, I didn't say all, most times, especially when it's now compounded with lack of education, lack of exposure, recipe for disaster. Most times these girls grow up to be women constantly struggling for validation, dealing with self-identity crisis, fighting low self-esteem and low self-worth, and settling, getting excited and falling for any nincompoop that passes her a sweet compliment. Most times, those are the girls that we would find on social media, naked. You just cover here, the whole butt cheek open, back, on TikTok. That's attention that they didn't get from their father. They are constantly desiring it from the wrong people and at the wrong places. That is, Shotigbo, the job starts with you. Do not bring up a Portable concubine. Every positive thing your daughter possesses, let her first hear it from you. That relationship she has with you will be the foundation of all other relationships that she would have with men in the future. And that is why I get particularly pissed off when women deny children access to their fathers, especially when the man wants to be present or involved. And that was part of the advice that I was giving Sophia, Davido's baby mama. I didn't say that Davido is good. I didn't say he's a saint or he's an angel. I said that as long as this man is trying to be involved in the life of this child, keep your differences aside and give him access. He might not be meeting up 100% of what your expectations of him is. Do not be angry with him. Not because you don't have a right to be angry with him, but for the sake of this daughter of yours. Manage the situation. Those are the consequences and challenges that come from being a baby mama. You will never get that wife privileges. You would make do. But if you comport yourself well, you carry yourself with honor and prestige, you would find another fine gentleman that sees you worthy to be wifed. Leave this social media fight with this boy. And I'm not saying it because I like or support him. I'm saying it in that child's interest. Because I am a living testimony. Daughters need their fathers. And as long as he doesn't pose a potential danger, I'm not saying maybe a child molester or an abusive drunk, a madman, give you. No. A man can be a bad husband, but can be a good father. Are you aware? Yes. It's very possible. There's some men that I see that they cannot cope with a marriage with a woman, but when it comes to that fatherly duties, they don't joke with their children. No. So yes, you can say, I hate you, don't talk to me, I don't want any relationship with you. That's good and fine. That's between both of you. But let it not affect the child's relationship with their father. Of course, I know that there are some fathers that are not interested. They are absentee fathers. They just run away. They don't want. That is different. Or maybe the father is late. There are other exceptions. And I sympathize with your peculiarities. And I know that God is your strength. He would help you fill the void. But if you have a good, responsible, and decent, trusted male figure maybe an elder brother, your father, a good brother-in-law that can show some semblance of that father presence in the life of that child, you can embrace it. Secondly, the second lesson I would like us to draw on this is that money is not everything. I know we are in a crazy generation. I see some things on social media and I'm like, hell God, help me. My sons go see wife marry so. Women of these days are going crazy and it's only going to get worse with every passing year. So I'm just imagining the next 10, 15 years when these children start getting married, what will be their fate? Everybody is about, if he doesn't drop 200,000, we're not on the same talking stage. He cannot talk to me. If he doesn't buy me this, he cannot do this, he cannot do that. It's just about the money, money, money. Money is important, but it is not everything. If it is everything, you won't see some women married to rich men and still run away from the marriage. Have you asked yourself that question? Money should never substitute for discipline, decency, values, principles. Because if you settle for a man lacking these only because he has money, my sister, you will suffer. And the tears and blood in your eyes will be too much. It will blur your vision. You'll not be able to see the money again. I remember when I wanted to get married, my husband and other suitors were coming for my hand in marriage. My primary concern was not, or my primary criteria was not who is the richest amongst them. That's the criteria that a lot of women have now. If there are 4, you rank them financially. Who is richest? You pick the richest one. That's all they need to hear. But my husband was not the wealthiest or the most affluent or the richest amongst the people that wanted to marry me. But I chose to marry him. I'm not saying he was one jobless ifulefo. No, he had things going on for him. But I'm talking about the ranking on finances. My priorities were different because I knew the kind of marriage that I wanted. And I knew the power of character and the advantage of having similar beliefs, agreeable values. And I knew that when a man has all these other things, money will come. Let us tailor our priorities right when trying to make the decision for a life partner or for any man that you would even let into your space. It's not when any man, whether he's an inkita dog, efulefu, eji, anything that walks into your space just because he has money, you jump in and then you commit yourself to a lifetime of horror and torture. And lastly, laziness. It will forever be in fashion to be productive. Did you hear me? There would always be dignity in being resourceful. When you are lazy and dependent, then you will have no other option but to rely and depend on anyone and anything that can help you, that can sustain you. I would always tell you the truth. I'll tell you what works, given our own peculiar environment. I see a lot of young ladies obsessing with what do they call it now? SAHM. SAHM videos, stay-at-home moms videos. A lot of young ladies now are obsessing with such content. Be a value woman. What do they call it? Trophy wife. There are different names now. When you see the views on those videos, you just say, God. Wahala day. But you are watching those videos from a supposed SAHM, stay-at-home mother, right? Wife. That is dishing out content. She's not really a stay-at-home mother. She is a content creator portraying the stay-at-home mother lifestyle. And she is making money from those contents. You are watching and following videos of a woman projecting a trophy wife. You just have to be feminine in your energy and don't do anything. You sit down there, you see attract value man that would lavish you, forgetting that these women are in societies where women are protected. Where even if after 20, 30 years, the man wakes up and says, I don't want this marriage again, oh yeah, go. The Lord will tell him, oh yeah, you cannot kick her out like that. You have to give her something. Because throughout these 30 years, she has been at home cleaning your house. If you were to hire a cleaner for 30 years, oh yeah, back out the money. She has been in your house taking care of your children. Oh yeah, add 30 years of childcare. Do you know how much childcare is abroad? She has been at home doing your laundry. Oh yeah, add laundry man for 20 years. Back out the money. She has been at home. You will come back home to warm food. Oh yeah, add the money of chef for 20 years. She has been at home with you, giving you bright ideas, supporting you, covering up in your gap. If she wasn't there with your children, your work would have suffered. You would have been going for PTA meeting. You would have been dropping the children in school. You would have been doing school runs. She covered your gap so you can work. So you cannot say that money is my money. It's not your money. It is both of his money. Despite you were the one in the office seat, she was covering your tracks. And then the law would say, give her something. You can't leave her empty-handed. You can't leave her high and dry. You can't leave her at the age of 50 to start all over again. You are comparing yourself with that society where you are in third world country, where Chief Obasi can wake up one day and carry you like this and kick you like like football, like Ronaldo. Kick you out with your children. Ihojo, I told him I'm not laughing at bad thing. You're comparing yourself to that lifestyle without knowing that the outcomes can be different. The man will tell you that it is his money, and people will not even be sensitive enough to understand the role that you have played in ensuring that he made that money that he's calling his own money. Women, shine your eyes. Use your brain. Before you make that decision of being a kept woman, understand the peculiarities of your environment. Know the kind of man that you are married to. For some women, it works. Their husbands are loving and caring. Oh, so good, appreciative of their efforts at home. While for some women, most women back home in Africa, the here way, where a woman will have a rich husband, but she's a poor woman. She can't bring out 100,000 to help her family. But her husband is a rich man, poor wife, but a rich husband. Living in mansion, but shishi, you know they see. Be careful. To conclude this video, I would like to tell you guys that more often than not, how a person turns out eventually begins from their childhood, their family structure, their parents. Let us try and set the right foundation for our children. Bringing up stable, well-rounded children doesn't just start and end with financial provision. Let us teach these children what they deserve and how they should be treated. And for every person watching me here, every young person, what determines one life's output at the end of the day is a cluster of all the many choices that we make. Small, almost seeming insignificant choices, and the big major ones. Money is important in a relationship, in a marriage, but money is not everything. Please pay focus to character as well. May God give us the wisdom to make the right choices. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.